CP.
Are you serious? He's gone! 40, 30, Portis all the way! Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards!
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp, you know. He'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion too.
You know, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say, and you know, for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Clinton Portis. CP. Teach him something.
Welcome into week 9. Is it week 9, guys?
Yep.
Week 9 of 26 minutes with Clinton Portis. Obviously, this is not Clinton's voice, but as his teammates, Monica McNutt here, Jake Kring-Schreifels, Kelly Basie, we're going to hold it down for our captain who is traveling abroad right now.
Are you serious?
Oh, perfect, Jake. That was so perfect. I'm sure he would be proud.
I had to do it.
So, guys, let's kick off the conversation.
Wait. First of all,
Monica,
it's your birthday.
It is my birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Happy birthday. I knew you weren't going to say it yourself, so I had to say it for you.
You know what? Pound it, Jake. That's what teammates are about. It is my birthday. I'm super excited to be on the couch with another episode of 26 Minutes and with you guys. And I think I'm going to consider Sunday's victory a birthday gift.
I would hope so.
The home team takes care of business. Guys, we're all on the sideline or in the press box, wherever we were. I was on the sideline. Field goal. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, well, here we go, overtime. Momentum in Cowboys' favor. This is not looking good.
What'd you think, Kelly?
Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, here we go into overtime. Got to keep fighting all the way through. And I know a lot of players were thinking that also, reading the articles on Redskins.com on Monday. And it was an exciting win, that's for sure.
So the ball doinks off the left side of the goal? Right side.
Left
side.
Left goalpost.
Left goalpost. And I was on the field. We were going to do a post-game interview with whoever. But it, didn't click initially. I was like, oh, wait, we won. Let's get out there. And, of course, they're telling us we were going to get either Capri or Preston, and they rolled over with Alex, which was super cool.
Yeah.
But we get a chance to shout out to the fans. He was super gracious. Jake, what do you think about this win in terms of setting them up for another division matchup on Sunday on the road?
I just think it's so important because the entire narrative of this year was win one, lose one. They can't put a streak together. There's no consistency with this team, and it's been that way for a long time. I mean, we saw they kept posting that graphic all throughout the week, and then even on Sunday that CBS posted, you know, in the last however many games, they are 28-28, and it just kept going, win, lose. So this game, football is crazy. I mean,
absolutely.
The entire mood shifts because a ball moved a couple inches and a snap infraction pushed the kicker back 5 yards. I mean, it doesn't really make logical sense, but 4-2 is at a much better position than 3-3. It just makes this season right now feel a little more hopeful, especially when you look at the fact that Eagles lost the Panthers, the Giants lost the Falcons. You know, we're ahead of the Cowboys now. There's some real momentum now to be taken from this.
For sure. I know post-game I asked Alex about the momentum, right? And he said, when he said it, I was kind of like, eh. He was like, it's 6 weeks in, and it's still early. In my head, I was like, I mean, yes and no. We're not quite at the halfway point of the season, but we also sort of see an identity for this team a little bit. I mean, Kelly, what were your thoughts?
I mean, exactly what Jake said. We've had consistency with win, lose. And now to go 2 winning games back to back, I mean, now we just have to stay consistent with that going into this next division game, and hopefully we can pull through again.
So what's a streak then? Because I remember Randy Whitman having this argument when he was still coaching the Wizards. What's a streak, guys?
Well, this is a streak only because it's in relative to Redskins terms. I mean, really a streak is 3.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
2 is
back-to-back wins.
Back-to-back, right? That's the old expression when you win championships, right? 1's a championship, 2's a back-to-back, 3's a streak, and then, or 3's a three-peat.
3's a
three-peat. 4's a
okay.
dynasty, right?
Okay.
In this case, yeah, I think 3 would really qualify as a streak. But right now, you have to look at it as a streak because they just put 2 wins together is something that is not normally celebrated by really strong teams, but for the fact that this team has, been 500 for a long time, you got to go with it.
CP, we really wish you were here because your number, again, turned it out Sunday in terms of representing well. Adrian Peterson, and a lot of the talk, sports radio in our area is now where would we have been if Doug Williams didn't go rogue and have this meeting like with AP, and then like this idea of the over the hill gang really meaning something. I just think it's so dope that AP is being able to sort of shatter that narrative about his age.
I love that Trent Williams described him as a Greek sculpture. Like that's he, you know, like basically his body just manages to continue to, you know, pull off the incredible. And, you know, part of that is, look, he's still injured. Like, he still has that. He popped in his shoulder on New Orleans.
Oh, God.
Popped it out, popped it in.
Yeah, right? Like,
you know, this is how much he loves this game. He wants to do that. He actually said, did you see that? He said on the field, he kind of rolled over to pop it in and then said it felt so much better once he popped it in. So,
determination.
You know, this speaks, you know, testament to what this guy's mindset is on the field.
A guy who will not quit.
At all. And I'm totally pitching this to Redskins.com. I would be curious to like hang out with him on a day where he is like doing body maintenance, right? Yeah. Like how much does he spend? Like LeBron spends millions on his body. Like what is Adrian's routine? Like how have you been able to sustain this?
You know, him and Vernon and, you know, to a certain extent Alex Smith, a lot of these guys that are pushing in their mid-30s now, this has become the revolution in the NFL, is how do you maintain yourself at a level that may be even greater than when you started to play in the league. I mean, guys in the mid-2000s, this just wasn't a thing yet, really.
Right.
You know, it was just kind of accepted that once you get past 31, 32,
downhill
it's just
from
it's time to exit. It's not your time anymore.
Speaking of that age, we've got guys like Marshawn Lynch, Jamal Charles. Marshawn's injured on IR. Jamal Charles was recently cut. But let's switch gears a little bit, guys. One of the biggest stories in sports, and you know this podcast doesn't stick just to football, Spitgate. Is that fair to call it Spitgate?
No, because you see the spit.
It's gross.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, though. If somebody's hawking spit, and like I'm a chick that talks fast, gets excited, a lot of moisture here, like I have had that happen where you're like, oh, my bad, right? But if I was deliberately going to spit at somebody, as Rajon Rondo has been accused of doing to Chris Paul, you're not going to miss it. There's not going to be any, like, because to Rajon's point, I know that there's bad blood between them. Eric Gordon, Carmelo Anthony, nobody reacts like he, like spit at Chris Paul.
Yeah. I mean, that would certainly be more of an intention if you actually cocked your neck back a little bit.
Right.
There's a post on Instagram, though, of this video of this scene actually happening where you can see it looks like there is spit coming right out onto Chris Paul, and he even flinches back when it happens. And there weren't words being spoken before from Rondo.
I'm not arguing that there was spit, Kelly, but like, let me get passionate. Like, there's going to be. I'm just saying intentional.
It's
or not.
just collateral damage is what you're saying in a huge argument.
Right, and because I don't like you, you spit on me, so as opposed to you being
I probably know this answer to this question, but why can't Rajon Rondo just come out and say, there may have been some excess spit that came off when I was yelling at him?
Because at this point, there's pride. But I think, I mean, that would have been smart. At this point, there's like way too much pride involved in it.
There is. Did you see also that Rondo is now, like, he's kind of embroiled in more controversy? I mean, he's just kind of like, I forget. He basically said that Chris Paul is like a bad teammate.
Yes,
too.
I saw that. And Big Baby Davis chimed in.
Right. And then, of course, the Rockets owner, general manager, Daryl Morey, posts a photo of the pot calling the kettle black.
Wow.
So there's
Big
a lot.
Baby's like, I played with both of them.
The NBA, it's amazing how we're a week into the season and we've already got incredible drama.
Any thoughts on the suspensions? What did Rajon get? I don't know what Rajon got. Chris got 2. Brandon Ingram got 4.
Rajon got 3.
Yeah. And
I think that was the whole thing. Rajon gets 3 and Chris Paul gets 2 is because Chris Paul is more looked upon favorably in the league and.
A lot of people. The other part of the conversation was like LeBron grabbing CP3 as opposed to getting his teammate. And I was like, anybody analyzing that is missing it. Like, that's his boy, like his son's godfather. Like, I would go grab my best friend too. Like, you in the middle of something that, like, no, this is not good for anybody. Let me get a hold of you, right? Like, I think that makes sense.
This is a new challenge, though, for LeBron, because he's got to kind of put out some more fires than he's probably used to. I mean, I think Cleveland, he had to do that a little bit in the start when he first got there, you know, and when he re-signed with them. But this is a little bit more like, we got a lot of youngsters on this team.
This is true, and I think the difference, though, for him in this boat, one is he is even more solidified as like a leader, the greatest athlete in the league possibly right now. But I also think that LA has a window for him, whereas opposed to Cleveland was like, okay, bring it home now. You know what I mean? Like, and those guys, like Josh
Not if you ask
Hart,
Lakers fans, but
well, I think LA Brass
Yes.
is going to give them a window. And I think the guys he's playing with now, not that they look at him doe-eyed, but have so much respect for all that he's done. Like, it's just going to come together, I would think.
I think that's where it gets a little tricky too, because you started to get in that Kyrie Irving phase maybe where you're like, man, why is this guy gonna have to keep telling me what to do?
You think that's going to happen in LA?
I don't know. I'm
don't
just
see it
thinking
happening in
that
LA.
I'm just thinking that could be a potential. I mean, definitely for Rondo. I don't think he needs to be coached
Yeah.
about that stuff, but I don't know. You never know when you join a locker room for the first time. I mean, you see it in football all the time. There's a lot of different personalities and backgrounds.
If anybody can handle it, LeBron James certainly can handle it. We're going to the next segment.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's talk about.
Oh wait, let me be
our
CP.
friends at Coke.
Jake got to pay the bills.
I gotta pay the bills.
That's good.
Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Coke Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Coke works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at kochindustries.com.
You make
Someone has
us
to do
all proud. All right, in our second segment of 26 Minutes with Clinton Portis, 26 minutes representing Clinton Portis today.
By the way, do we know why he's in Denmark?
Clinton's in Denmark, everybody. You want to speculate for the people? Look into the camera and speculate, Jake. You can follow him on Instagram.
Well, I think I did hear he was on a radio station, and I think he was on his layover, or maybe he had a couple-day layover in Amsterdam, and I think he just straight out said, "I'm looking to make some more money." So,
Basically.
you know, I think that's a fair assessment for why Clinton would be in Denmark.
I'm all for 26 minutes on the road, European tour. Totally about it.
I mean, I'm just looking forward to the stories next week.
There you go. There you go. You can definitely follow him along on Instagram. Yesterday he was posting about the tiny beds in Europe, which was pretty hilarious. It's like, get used to it, bro. You're not in the U.S. anymore. All right, in our second segment, my favorite part of the show, best thing we saw this week. Technically, Clinton always goes last. I actually go first in that chair. Do one of you want to start?
Well, I'll start, and you know, a little bit of a somber note, but it was, you know, as many people know in the Redskins nation, there was a you know, really sad moment last week. Rich Tandler of NBC Sports Washington passed away last Tuesday, and was able to go to his funeral service yesterday. And it was really beautiful. It was a great celebration of his life. So many people came up, family members and friends, and all had some really funny stories about Rich and just kind of his impact on the Redskins, on so many people that were Redskins fans, and you know, just people feeling they knew him just because they read his blog every day. And it was just really cool to see. I mean, the funeral home was just packed with people. I mean, people had to go into another room just to sit down and watch. And it was a really touching week. And then the fact that, you know, the Redskins win the game, and it was like a win for Rich moment, you know. And Trent Williams after the game even said that what he was thinking when the field goal was missed. He said, I just felt like Rich was with us, you know. And it was a really cool kind of summation of week that we were kind of, you know, thinking about Rich the whole week, and now we finally got a chance to win one for him. And they've had a really nice placement by his press box desk. You know, they had flowers and memory, and that'll never be filled again. So a really great week, you know, celebrating his life.
Even a moment of silence before the game also on Sunday. That was really nice.
For sure. Definitely a tip of the cap to the organization and the area in general. I mean, I remember coming in last week and the news was on the radio and it was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And again, like CP's talked about it with Sean when he referencing Sean Taylor, like as much as we love football and whatever it is that we do in our daily, like we're talking about people's lives. And at the end of the day, it's about the impact you make. And Rich was just the coolest dude. I worked with him briefly while I was at CSN. Just always so genuine and had a smile. But I definitely agree, Jake, a solid thing to be proud of saying this week.
Kelly?
For sure. All right, something I saw this week, Kristen Leahy, her new show just started on FS1 called Fair Game.
Yes, Kristen.
Yeah, she's already had a great start. She had Ray Rice on there, and he was talking about domestic violence and kind of opening up from his point of view and what he was going through during that, and saying that none of the situation, how it was handled, was okay. So definitely a good episode to watch. Also, then yesterday she had on Doc Rivers, Clippers head coach, talking about trading his son.
Cute. Cute. Austin actually has a podcast with The Uninterrupted now too.
Really?
Go Off, I think is the name of it. So apparently he's like a big thinker, like has interesting perspectives if you got some free time after you listen to 26 minutes with Clinton Portis.
It must be, I would bet Austin is probably happy that he gets a chance to play for someone other than his dad. I just feel like that always changes your perspective when you get to just be somewhere on opposite coast. You have a chance to really, make decisions on your own that feel like they're your own, in some ways.
Yes, I think that's true, just to purely to get out from under his dad's umbrella. But actually this weekend, after the second game of the season when they lost to Toronto, Candace Buckner did a piece on comparing almost the Clippers situation to what the Wizards have going on. And Austin was talking about how he's seen it where you've got like guys that have sort of been there, but for whatever reason it doesn't work. And he basically said, like, if we don't figure it out this season, like, they're going to end up blowing it up. It's the same thing he saw while he was with the Clippers. So super interesting perspective. Yes, out from under his dad, but I wonder how eerie what's happening at Capital One resembles what happens out at Staples Center for him. All right, so my best thing I saw this week, near tears this morning. Shout out to what's my guy's name on ESPN that does all of the
Tom Rinaldi.
Tom Rinaldi. I think you just prepare for tears when you hear Tom's voice, unless he's like doing something game day live. Tyler Trent, the young man who is a Purdue student, sort of the team captain, has bone cancer. Purdue upset Ohio State, huge upset. But Rinaldi profiled this kid, Tyler.
And he's terminal, too, and I think that's...
God, this morning watching that, like, I knew that when it came on, but, like, when he was talking about it, it was just like, God, like, it was one of those things that's like, sports is so powerful. But again, we talk about, like, sports is really such a small thing. Like, we're talking about life and, like, connections and, like, shout out to Tyler and his family. Rinaldi did a great job with the piece, as he always does, but, like, man, like, and Coach Braum is super cool too. I met him when he was at Western Kentucky.
And a side note, just thinking about that, yesterday at Rich's service, his brother was talking about how Rich and his dad, his dad was a colonel in the Army. Didn't have like a really strong relationship with him just because I guess he was away a lot, but in those moments when he could connect, we're talking about the Redskins, and it's not necessarily about the Redskins. It was just an opportunity for them to connect about something.
Something they bonded over and were passionate about.
Speaking of dads in the team, did you see Chris Thompson's tweet this weekend?
Yes.
His dad, they
really
were
cool.
able to kind of
his biological father,
bridge a gap. That was super cool when I saw that. So again, like, I guess in a way, this week we're talking a lot about the power of sports, right? Like being able to inspire, unite. It's one I remember hearing a long time ago that like a stadium or an arena is the one place where people of all different whatevers are going to be in the same place with common goals, and that in and of itself is like beautiful, right?
So, more of the story is go watch that video about Tyler.
Please watch that video, and you may need tissues.
And Ryan Kerrigan, I don't know if you guys saw this too, but he's a Purdue alum, and after the game he spent a couple questions talking about Tyler and how he was thinking about him during the Cowboys game.
Oh, man.
Then he sent Tyler his jersey, game-worn jersey, and Tyler tweeted about it and was just, this is amazing. And
that's awesome. Yes, Ryan, coming up with that big fumble. Yes.
I know.
That's all about those moments.
Man.
And that was a big game for him too, by the way. We didn't really talk about it, but you talk about these outside linebackers, Preston and Ryan, they haven't gotten the accolades that they've normally gotten just because the sack numbers haven't been there. Finally, Ryan Kerrigan gets 2 sacks. Preston didn't get one, but he's right there for the fumble and
picked up the ball, got a touchdown.
Their impact is still being felt, and I think you're starting to see in the landscape of the way we think about NFL players. Old statistics are kind of migrating into newer statistics. We're understanding the game a little more nuanced, and there's different ways that we measure how these guys perform.
How much though, like? How else are you measuring those guys in particular, though? Like, because we've had this conversation about the line being solid, defensively, particularly through the course of the season. But, man, now that Alex said it, it keeps ringing in my head. Like, we're at Game 7. Not quite halfway. But there is still some time to sort of hit a groove. Like, how are you measuring them then?
Well, I think there's been pressures, right? Like, pass percentage, pressures and kind of how often you're getting around or to the quarterback. There's a new thing, ESPN came out this year where they track within 2.5 seconds, which is the amount of time that a defensive lineman should get to the quarterback. Have you beaten your offensive lineman? And if you have, you get a certain grade. There's a lot more in that. And then also, I was just watching the game. You notice how Preston pushing, his left tackle or right tackle, then forces an incompletion because
Right.
Dak has to get off balance and off kilter. You saw it with Cam Newton even the week before. There's just certain things that they do, and then that even allows the middle of the defense to step up. So there's all these little things that, you know, it's hard when you're just watching the highlights of a game to say, oh, well, I didn't see him get any sacks, you know?
Right.
But
But even Jay came to their defense like Monday in terms of like, people are stuck on sacks or whatever, but like the guys in the middle have been doing a good job too. Like it's a whole line effort and not just them. But that conversation that CP and Santana had, what was that, week 6 maybe, about it being a contract year for Preston was interesting as well as far as that goes too. But speaking of defense, let's jump into this one a little bit. The Cincinnati Bengals, your guy, Jake, I don't know if this is your guy.
This is not my guy.
I made that up.
Whoa.
Montez,
Slow down.
perfect. Well, for one, he's injured. But before he got injured, another questionable tackle on Spencer Ware was he was accused of twisting an ankle intentionally. Did you have thoughts?
Yeah, this guy is ridiculous. And I honestly think that, look, there's a lot of pundits that would agree that he is a dirty player, and I think it's pretty obvious when you watch what he's been doing over the last few years that, yeah, I mean, he's not doing this just to make a tackle. And I don't know, I just don't understand the mindset of somebody when you're, you know, you can go all out in the moment, but there is a conscious decision that you make to do something that extra that can easily harm somebody.
Yeah, if you're doing this over and over, if this is not a
Why are you giving
one-time
me that
offense.
Wait, go Kelly. I'm going to tell you why, but go Kelly. I'm going to tell you why, but go
your
Kelly.
guy.
If it's not a one-time defense.
If it's not a one-time offense, if he's done this multiple times or plays like this, then
And he has.
there's something behind it.
Definitely. His reputation certainly precedes him. And I'm not going to say, I'm making that face because I can remember playing, and one of my favorite teammates, I was actually on the phone with her for a couple hours last night, there were extras, but basketball's a little different. I don't think we ever extra like go after a knee or an ankle, but like anytime you're in a contact sport, there's a little room for extra. Like I'm just competitive.
No,
now,
Yes.
I can back
You
you
feel
up
me?
on that because
Right?
I played lacrosse.
Okay, right. So you know what I
there's-
mean,
yeah,
Kelly?
yeah. And I was
Like,
a defender, so you
a
had
little
little
extra.
tricks. Yeah. You
Now
had
he
little
may
tricks
take
when the
it
refs weren't
know.
too far, but there's always a little extra. Like you know, you're talking trash. I'm about
But
to get
why
you.
is it only this guy doing this?
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
His extra is probably a little bit too far in the deep end.
Yes.
But-
He needs to pull back a little
Yeah.
bit more.
I don't think you're taking this as serious as I think you should. I'm a little worried about you, Monica. I mean, this is and there was even one a couple weeks ago where he goes right
Yeah,
to the
that
helmet
show- yeah.
after the play had
Yeah,
ended.
yeah.
It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing.
And,
If the league-
it keeps hurting his team. I mean,
So right, that's what I'm saying. If you have such a problem with him, we've seen people not get roster spots. Jamal Charles just got cut. Like the Bengals gotta let him go. Then, if you have such a when is it worth it? As we're moving into,
Well, I think this
Right,
is
when
where the
you put your
NFL needs
foot
to
down,
step
where's
in
the
and say, look, we're going to penalize him
well, yeah, I guess
more than we have. And then the Bengals are really forced to think, well, now the really weigh the consequences of
Right.
his actions there.
do you buy the idea that he's just still an old school guy in a new league?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No, because he's been doing this for a long time. And I feel like
It's
it's...
the old school.
Yeah, I know, but even back then it was still considered
Okay, I got you.
dirty. I mean,
I got you.
The sport is changing too. You got to be able to change with it.
Yeah,
I think that's bottom line.
that's true too.
this isn't the Clay Matthews issue.
This is not. Props to Clay Matthews and I'm bad at video games, the commercial with the flags. Come on, y'all. I know
Yeah.
you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about? What video game is that? I gotta find this. Props to Clay Matthews making
Madden?
money. Is it Madden? No, it's not Madden.
Oh, yes.
It's a game. Clay Matthews video game commercial.
With the flags.
Yes, so there's like flags in all the game. It's like a military shooting game, something. Not shooting, but y'all know what I mean.
Yeah.
Clay, I'm gonna find it. The other one that is hilarious is J.R. Smith is in an ad. It was on Instagram for something, and they're like, you ran out of time, JR, and he's like, it was one time. Like he's poking fun at himself for last year, which is hilarious. Shout out to guys that don't take themselves too seriously and can poke fun at themselves.
Right.
It's the Black Ops commercial.
Yes. Oh, Call of Duty.
Call of
yes,
Duty.
Call
I
of
was
Duty.
like, God, that one is hilarious.
Call of Duty's had a lot of good commercials about that.
Yeah, Call of Duty's been on it. All right, CP's not here, so we can't really do an Ask CP segment. But we could kind of take questions and guess his answer. You got a question, Kelly?
Yeah, we could guess. We could throw out our best guesses.
Let's do our what would
just
CP say?
What would CP
Okay.
say?
Yeah. All right. So first question asks CP, Deuce Fam 6. What football player did you model growing up?
That's going to be a tough one.
Very tough for us.
Let's see. What would he say?
Old school football players. Let me
mean-
look them up. Who was at Miami
I'll tell you
before
who's someone
him?
you would have looked up to. Or when even growing up and paying attention to football, who's someone that
He
that
kind
stuck
of
out
said
to
it
you?
the other day when we were talking about
Yeah.
Miami. The guy, I can't remember
Yeah.
the name, but he said the guy that was leaving when he was coming in that gave
Challenged
him
him,
that
yeah.
life quote, never to walk away from challenges.
Yep.
So
I would
love
just
you,
let's
Captain.
put Barry Sanders out there.
Boom!
Right? I mean,
Barry
I figure
Sanders.
he's got to be up on that list.
Barry Sanders. I like that, Jake. What else, Kelly? CP, you're missing all these great questions.
I know, right? All right, next question. Soldier every day. What was the one run where you felt like they won't catch me?
I can't answer
I know
that one.
we got a lot of personal questions this time.
We can't answer that
around,
one.
So
If they had more like philosophical questions on parenting
Right?
and relationships, I probably could guess.
Yeah, we didn't bring up relationships this
Right.
episode.
No relationships this episode.
okay, how about what's the one run where you felt like they won't catch me in a relationship?
In a relationship. Oh boy.
You and
I'm gonna leave
CP
that
always
one
talk
alone.
relationships, right?
That's true. We do always talk relationships. All right. Well, this has been fun, guys.
We miss CP.
We miss
Yeah.
you, Captain.
By the way, can we also promote the fact that in 2 weeks we'll be doing the podcast live from Fort Belvoir.
Boom. Look in the camera and tell him that, Jake. Tell him
Live
that.
from Fort Belvoir. Live from Fort Belvoir. That's
In 2
a tongue
weeks.
twister.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, November the 6th, which is my
November
birthday
6th.
actually.
Yes, it's Jake's
So
birthday.
I'll get to be out of the office on my birthday. That'll be good.
That's also election day. People vote.
yes.
Register to
Big
vote.
day. Big day.
Big day. It will be coming off of our next home game too.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Guys, what if they roll off like 4 or 5?
I know it's easy to get ahead of ourselves here,
is.
but
But the Giants look so terrible.
the writing's on the wall for that to happen.
Yeah,
so
right?
I do think there is a bigger streak in store if they can keep and I think also just looking over this Giants team. I mean, we can close out by the fact of saying Giants traded away Eli Apple. They traded away Damon Harrison. So those are two big starters.
Their defense looks different.
It does seem like the Giants are starting to tank on purpose. This is one of those classic trap games, though, when you start to look
Absolutely.
at it. So I think the Redskins, it seems like they're in a pretty good state of mind right now.
Right, and they seem to be well aware of that. Because
Yeah.
like CP pointed out last week, whatever it is, 2 weeks after the Giants do a thing, then they run into them and and I do think that there is an awareness just about divisional rivalries that you just can never really sleep. Because there's so much familiarity there, like it matters for
And
the
look,
division.
the Giants always play us really tough. They in fact, I think they beat us. Well, we beat them on Thanksgiving last year, but they also had the last laugh on New Year's Eve. So there's still always the potential, especially in MetLife Stadium. The Redskins have not ever really played that well there. So there is a chance that that they've got to rewrite that narrative this year.
Well, we're rewriting things already with back-to-back wins.
We are.
Super exciting. Jake will be with the team. People can follow whatever you're putting out as far as content goes. Where, Jake?
Well, you can follow the Redskins social handles,
Boom.
of course. Redskins.com will be there. Redskins.com live will be on the field about 12:15 pregame show as always. So, looking forward to that game.
Man, you looked at the weather. My friend said it's cold up there already.
It's always
It's gonna
cold.
be
It's always
cold.
windy.
It
It's
was
always
supposed to
windy.
rain.
Super cold.
Rain's holding
Oh
off. though.
yeah. Ugh, that tropical storm's supposed to be making its way through.
Yep.
All right, guys. I don't know what the time is on this particular podcast, but it's probably the closest to actually 26 minutes we've ever gotten. Which today we're going to call a good thing, efficient.
Yeah,
Right? I think we represented our captain well.
I think we did.
Fair enough.
I got to pay the bill now.
One more bill pay.
Guys, everybody's playing to get to the big game. It's the ultimate goal, the game of games, the hottest ticket in town. It's the Virginia Lottery's Win a Spin live show. 8 lucky winners of the Win a Spin Scratcher will get the chance to spin the big prize wheel to win a guaranteed $100,000 to $500,000, and they'll get to do it live at the Virginia Lottery headquarters. So if you want to get to the big game, the Big Wheel live show, here's what you have to do. Scratch the Win a Spin Scratcher to find a spin code that you'll enter online. If your online code reveals a Big Wheel message, you've made it. You're going to lottery headquarters to spin the big wheel in front of a live audience on Facebook. Oh, and you're also spinning to win a guaranteed prize of $100,000 to $500,000. If you want the glory, you've got to get off the bench, so get your touchdown dance ready and visit your local lottery retailer and ask for the Win a Spin Scratcher today. Top prize odds in Win a Spin are 1 in 918,000.
Speaking of lottery, dear winner in South Carolina of the Mega Billion Million whatever lottery, just know that I'm a really nice person. I'm lots of fun. I'd be happy to jump on your coattails on your bandwagon. Congratulations to you and be safe. You guys ever watch that show when you win the lottery and people like die?
I have watched that.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, they like go off deep end.
It's a scary
Lose their
thing.
mind.
I don't think I'd ever really want to win.
Would you want to stay anonymous?
I would.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. And just don't worry about me. I'm good. I just don't exist anymore. Anyway, this podcast doesn't exist anymore because that's going to do it for episode 9 for Kelly, Jake, for Clinton Portis, who's abroad making money so he can treat us all to some European trip where we do the podcast live on tour. I'm Monica. Thanks for listening along. Fresh episode will be back at you next week with the one and only Clinton Portis. Have a good one.
Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
Hey, this is Jake Kring-Schreifels with another Redskins 365 update. Redskins coming off their second straight victory over the Cowboys, as discussed earlier. They started the practice week Wednesday, and some good early signs. Paul Richardson Jr. and Chris Thompson were participating after missing Sunday's game. The Redskins head back on the road Sunday to take on the Giants at MetLife Stadium. Kickoff at 1 p.m. You can catch the game on Fox. Redskins.com live pregame show will take place at 12:15 on the website as well as Facebook and Twitter. Check back to Redskins.com throughout the week for more updates.